that.
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No!
What day is it? Monday? Oh, Monday!
Monday, so good to me.
Hey, it's Monday.
Medical
Monday.
Changes could be coming to Michigan's marijuana law. A new set of bills now being heard in Lansing.
Marijuana is not a drug.
And the bills would have major implications to small medical growers known as caregivers.
That's some heavy shit, man.
Small pot farmers in California say the state is not standing by its promise to protect.
Big companies were supposed to be limited, but some have stacked hundreds of licenses.
I'm hitting it so hard.
Created a cartel, essentially.
You have an industry allowing for businesses to operate like cartels.
But it's a Monday.
Harm has been done by the fact that we didn't legalize it back then.
Well, I don't know if there's any harm that's been done.
There was people getting arrested, there were people getting thrown in jail. I mean, that counts, doesn't it?
What kind of joint is this, man?
Smoking marijuana all in public. You would think that shit was legal. We the Pistons in the 8, 9, and 9. Oh, bad boy, bad boy.
It's just another
Medical.
And welcome Medical Mondays, y'all. This is your host with the most, THC, and his motherfucking bloodstream, BERG. Of course, I got my right-hand man, my co-host, my compadre, Erocho.
What up, doe?
Of course, we got a returning panelist joining us, Mr. Hash Bash himself, Adam Elbrook. And we got our special invited guest tonight. We got Elliot from PSI Labs. Thanks for joining us. And before we get into anything, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our awesome sponsors. And huge shout out to Native Made 313. Michigan Turf Farms, Nugget Duction Extracts, Tiki Man, SLB Labs, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom. Of course, here on Medical Mondays, we want to stress the fact that if you are using cannabis, you should get your medical card, because all cannabis use is medical as far as I'm concerned. One of the awesome people you can contact and get your card from is Detroit Certification Center. You can hit them up at 248-275-6707. Either give them a text or call, leave a voicemail, or you can contact them on their social media and at Detroit Cert Center for all of them. DetroitCertCenter.com, Detroit Cert Center on Instagram. Sure, it's the same thing on Facebook and everything. So much love to Detroit Cert Center. But if you think that they're too far, you can't get a hold of them. You know, there's plenty of other people you can hit up. There's GC3. There's Vehicle City. There's Pure West on the west. We got Michael Dewey up north. Michigan Weedsters. Am I forgetting anybody, Roach? I think I pretty much got them all.
Dr. Bridget.
Oh, yeah, Dr. B. My bad, Dr. B from Ohio. And she does it in Ohio and Michigan. So, they're at Dr. B. And if you want to see Detroit Cert Center in person, you know where you need to go is shout out to JSH Enterprises, Nugget Duction Extracts, and Bread Boys. This give back event. It's going to be non-perishable food and a coat drive give back. And it's benefiting Capuchin Soup Kitchen as well as First Step Women's Shelter. And everybody that comes gets a raffle ticket at the door for your chance to win awesome prizes from all of the vendors. Me and Roach are going to be there. Like I said, it's non-perishable food or winter jackets or coats to get in free, or it's $20 at the door. But like me and Roach always say, it's good to bring both, man. It's going to a good cause.
Yeah, the classy move. The classy move is the donation and cash. Just saying.
Definitely. But yeah, plenty of dope sponsors are going to be in the house, including Native Made, of course, Nug Abduction. Your boy Nice is going to be there. Detroit Cert Center is going to be there, like I said already. And that is November 12th. 6 days away, y'all. Chi-Town's going to be in there up on the hibachi grill cooking it up. We're going to have the Fun Food Express truck outside serving up all the Carnival-esque food. And me and Roach are going to be there. So,
And I guess the bread boys.
yeah, bread boys.
Yeah, no, if we didn't have such a prestigious guest like Elliot here, boys on here, find out who the fuck they are, but we're gonna find out this Sunday.
Definitely.
Do you know the bread boys, Adam?
I ain't never heard of the Red Boys before.
Well, now you have.
I know one of the bread boys.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do I know?
Yeah, you know him too, man. But how does that relate to being a bread boy and the other guy? I don't know. We're gonna find out Sunday.
This is Detroit. That sounds a little too close to the Doughboys, if you ask me. But whatever. I lived through a different time.
Wait a minute. This is Detroit and what?
Well, we used to have the Doughboys.
Oh.
And this to me seems like
I mean, they might have been the Doughboys and they got baked.
And they got baked, right? That's
so.
what I'm thinking. If so, man. Yeah. Anyways, I'm just thinking
I
about.
don't know, I'm interested to see what this whole bread boy phenomenon is about. I think there might be a performance.
That type of thing. I never heard of them before.
But yeah, like I said, plenty of awesome sponsors, including Native Made. Shout out to Native Made in the chat. Nug Abduction Extracts. John Doe is going to be there, of course. Your boy Nice, Mr. Kush 313, and plenty of other people, man. So come on through. At least come through for the prizes, man. At least.
Yes.
And I want to say on the 11th, they're going to be doing another Gotcha Bingo. So
yeah.
If you want to roll through there, Gotcha Bingo will be going on. Of course, in Detroit, if you know, if you don't know, and want to know, hit any of us up, and we'll definitely let you know where it is. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Sweet Spirit, Miss Rue, Native Made, Detroit River Rat, Cognac, Brian. And I'm sure there's plenty of other ones that haven't said anything yet, but not sure Clover's in here. But shout out to Clover.
Sure.
Yeah, man. So what's everybody smoking on, yo? I'm currently smoking on some. What is it, Roach?
I got a fucking wood of some Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, it is Dante's Inferno, Michigan Turf Farms. That's what I got rolled up.
Courtesy of Michigan Turf Farm. Best caregiver in the state.
Definitely. I also got some Skittles as well as Blueberry Z rolled up.
It's my new favorite, that Blueberry Z.
Yeah, the Blueberry and the Inferno, man. Blue Inferno. Fire. How about you,
We got
Adam?
some strawberries and cream from Red Setter Farms.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to
The
Red
best
Setter.
caregiver in Michigan.
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like some competition. Oh. Maybe you should enter.
There's only one way
the hash bash. The hash
There you
bash competition.
I think that's the only way we're gonna settle it. Is we're gonna have a smoke sesh, Elliot, a hash bash.
I think that sounds great.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, shout
Put it on
out
the
to
books.
Red Setter.
I got some Zope left over that I put away, about half an ounce. So I'm dipping into that, and it's just been sitting. But the flavor's great, so I like it.
And that's that Michigan Turf Farms too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what the label tells me. It is Michigan Turf Farms.
I'm sure your lungs are telling you too.
Oh, dude, my brain is fried. I mean, you can only smoke this stuff for so long.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're getting smoked in the fucking comments too. Native made off the RS11. Rue smoking the space gelato. Honey buds with dirty berry and apple fritter. Was being represented there. Who said cheetah piss?
Cheetah piss was Zachary.
No.
Dirty berry fritter. That sounds good.
Although I do
I'm
like
trying to
Brian's
think what-
answer.
I'm trying to think what Red Setter gave me before, but it was pretty fire, man.
I want to say it was what he said, that strawberry and cream shit.
Yeah. All right.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good lemon dosey though.
Yeah.
And I feel it deserves an honorable mention. Brian is smoking some unnamed black market diggity dank.
There you go.
Diggity dank.
And as long as he's getting high, that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, everybody's turned up. And while you guys are smoking all that funky ass weed and commenting, man, hit that fucking thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Share with some friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. It's all a good idea.
Yeah. Get notifications too. So when we go late, like we always do, you'll get notified. You won't have to be waiting in the.
I get texts.
Yeah.
I get texts. Are you guys going live tonight? I'm like,
No, I know. Me too. Is there no medical Mondays there?
I'm like, come on, it's 9:08. Leave us alone.
Right. We're on stoner time.
Yeah.
It's. I keep on saying I'm gonna change it to 9-ish instead.
9-ish, right?
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9-ish.
Hell yeah.
Oh man.
Well, shit. What's on everybody's mind? Anybody want to share something before we get into the show?
Oh. I mean, yeah, I'll talk about shit.
What's on your mind, Adam?
I'm just fascinated about all this industry people reading about, they can't get their bills paid from other industry people. And in the street, that don't happen. Let me tell you. I mean, I can explain it if it needs to be explained, but in the industry, they shouldn't be having to wait 60, 80, 90, 100 days, 2 years. That's ridiculous to get huge bills paid.
I mean, they're doing it to the employees too. Not just,
right.
like the employees are getting slacked,
I read something about some employees that were said, hey, you're done. Don't come into Monday, and we'll pay you 2 weeks worth, and it'll be paid out on this date. And then that date came, and they got 1 week's worth.
Wow.
If at all.
Oh, well, there was that one. There was that one where they show up to work and they're like, they just hold everybody and they're like not even letting them go and get their personal effects out of their lockers or anything. They're like, oh no, just leave.
I'm telling you, man, in the streets, it don't happen that way.
I mean, it kind of does, though. We've all heard stories about that guy who went to here, who went to there, and copped a little bit from everybody and then disappeared.
Yeah,
and that just doesn't happen at the scale. It's the scale, like in the millions.
Yeah.
I mean, and these are people that signed contracts and had lawyers and had this and had everything. I mean, and nobody goes in. Listen, if I had a business and you owed me money, I'd go knock on your door. There ain't nobody knocking on doors no more saying, hey, pay your bill. Now, I'll be honest. That happened to me with a PSI because PSI didn't bill me. PSI didn't bill me till after the hash bash. And by then I had already closed out the books because I knew all the other numbers I needed. And they never actually sent me a bill. And it's all digital and I'm not supposed to be sent a bill. I'm just supposed to pay. And I felt really bad because I was one of those paid late guys. But I paid. I mean,
That's okay. As long as you got it in, that's fine.
Right. That's all. And then they treat you, you know what? When I walk in there next year with the fucking bags, they'll treat me just the same.
Yep. Yeah, we love to see you walking through those doors.
Man, I like the fact that, and I like the fact that I can walk up to the door sometimes and hear it click before I go to hit the button.
Yep.
That I like.
Autumn and Eric are quick on that button.
Yeah. But the lab
business, though, like you said, if it happened in the streets, you pull up to their mama's house and let her know you're looking for the kid.
The only reason I knew about that bill is because their accounting office finally called me on the actual telephone, which is really the only way I have ever really dealt with them.
But yeah, no, you bring up an interesting point. How do you have a lawyer, a license, a physical address, a storefront, and you're running off on the plug? It doesn't seem like good for business.
No, I agree.
But I guess we're gonna see what the long arm of the law has to say about all these default payments.
That's it. That's what I think is going to be important, is that a bunch of these people are now suing each other, or going to sue each other, for what they're owed, at which point it becomes a legitimate deal. I mean, once someone files a lawsuit, it's on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think we'll be surprised at some of the names we hear.
Or will we be?
Well, I won't be.
Yeah, some of these facilities, man, are huge, and the amount of money that goes into running them is a lot.
Yeah, I just don't understand how a guy says, "Sure, take it, man. I'll get the 60 grand." I mean, what? 60 grand? Come on. Few grand here and there, okay, no problem. Guys paying a week, a couple grand, But 60 grand? What kind of collateral did you get on this? Well, I mean, I'm sorry. People in my family, people would have gone over there with baseball bats. Not my family, but my people.
I mean, yeah, the baseball bats are lawyers now.
Yeah, man. Now you're paying a lawyer
Subpoenas.
$400 an hour to sue these people, or take a third. They're taking a third of what they're recovering for you, and you know, you got to take what you can. And these guys are all going out of business anyways, eventually.
Oh man, I think we need to start a collections agency, Medical Mondays collections agency. We're a step below a lawyer.
I think was some such thing talked about, that there's collection agencies, but the thing is, you got to go to court first to get that paperwork done. And once you get that paperwork done, then a collection agency will come after somebody. You know, they'll really come after you. But this is going to be crazy. I'm just shocked at how much money people are owed by people that are paying their other bills. So I read a couple articles about that. I found that to be interesting, but that's the industry, I guess.
Yeah, I heard that the CRA is putting through some new laws, or they were like having the public review some laws and input ideas that they think would be like good moving forward. And I know that that was something that people had said is to get your license renewed. You have to have no debt on your license. You can't owe anyone.
Right.
You can't owe another business $60,000, you know, and get your license renewed.
I mean, that would be great if they do that, but you know, it's like we want to be treated, and it was the word we put out. We wanted to be treated like the liquor industry. You pay your wine bill, you pay your booze bill, you pay your beer bill, you get credit with the beer company, you know, the delivery company for the beer, and you pay that in 30 days, whatever. Hey, they're running 60 days, guys, 45 days, guys. The company's thrilled that these people are paying it all. Weed game, no different, but you're talking 60,000 here, 150,000 there. You know, employees being affected. That, I mean, come on. If I did my best, I expect at least a heads up, a warning.
And I think that's, you know, a product of kind of having a new market too, you know, like it's definitely not excusing it. It shouldn't happen, but you know, there's stuff that needs to get hammered out, and we still have a fairly new legal market out there. And, you know, I'm not surprised that there was kind of like a almost goodwill, you know, I'm going to take this in and sell it, you know, on the plug, and then I'll pay you back. And, you know, it's unfortunate that those deals don't ever, like, you know, finalize where the guy pays you back. But being a new market, I'm not necessarily surprised that that was kind of like how it went.
Yeah. Well, I guess, you know, we did a little bit of speculating. Thanks for dropping a topic there, Adam. That was actually a pretty good one. But let's get into the show a little bit and find out about Elliot and this wealth of knowledge that he's going to release onto the audience about state testing.
Yes.
First of all, let's learn a little bit about Elliot, man. Hey, what's up, Elliot? How you doing, man?
How's it going? My name's Elliot. I've worked at PSI I'm going on 3 years now. I've been in the industry for probably like 5 years. But other than that, I've been, you know, smoking weed since I was 16. So I've been pretty in the culture for my entire life. You know, I feel pretty lucky to be in the industry too, working at a lab, because it's kind of a little insulated sometimes from like the other concerns that like the market has in general, you know. So it's been cool. I've been really enjoying it. So I'm a sample tech, and I do like some event coordinating as well. Yeah.
Okay. So like what are the duties of a sample tech?
So my duties are I drive to like grower, processor, or like, if you're making edibles or wherever, go in there, bring all my gear, test whatever you need testing, and then I pretty much get a manifest and leave, But yeah, there's a bunch of different like requirements that the state has us do to ensure that we're doing accurate testing and doing randomized testing. That's like a big thing for us, is making sure that we're getting a good sample section of like the batch, and that can be, up to 50 pounds of flour at a time, or I've had like on one batch over 100,000 gummies.
Wow.
Which is crazy to see. Yeah. It's crazy to see in one room, just like totes filled with gummies.
I've seen it a few times, but let's take it back further. You said you started smoking when you were 16. Like, what was your first experience with cannabis, man? Like,
oh man, my first time smoking.
Were you around it beforehand? And what was your opinion on it before you smoked?
Ooh, I don't know if I had really an opinion before I started smoking. I remember my first time was in like my friend's basement out of a pop can. Had some nice regs on there, the good stuff. I remember being pretty high. Then I wound up getting high with my friend later, and it all was downhill from there.
Right. That's great. The pop can, man.
The old pop can. But yeah, so I've just pretty much been smoking, and then I was working like in the service industry as a bartender, and then when quarantine and COVID happened, I was like, I'm gonna be done with the service industry. So when I came back, I got a job at a dispensary, which is still a service, but and then luckily enough, I knew a couple people that worked at PSI, so when a job opened up, they let me know, and I got hired in.
All right, so I guess man, I wanted to make sure that we had a graphic to have up on the screen, so that you could kind of break it down for us, but fortunately we didn't make it that far in the planning stages.
That's okay. I mean, I could go through, just what I do, like kind of what the state requires me to do for testing, because I feel like a lot of people don't understand a lot of like nuts and bolts what I actually do when I test, and how that's like, and how that goes into like COAs, certificates of analysis, which are like the document that you need to sell in any licensed facility, med or rec.
All right. Well, I guess while you break that down a little bit, maybe we can just find a random test to put up on the screen, and maybe you can just go through that one, just to show how clean you are with it. But like, I
have a COA.
Yeah, I guess you could put it on the screen, huh?
Can
you share?
Yeah, you should be able to share content.
Mm-hmm. Look at this guy, Elliot, man. Like this guy.
Yeah,
he can't compare.
Prepared. Oh, it's disabled.
Let me
right.
Change it.
Yeah, with some of our other guests, we have to take certain precautions.
Right.
Some other guests. I was thinking, what picture could I put up real quick?
Yeah, who can share? It says all participants, so you should be able to.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. Oh, sorry. Wait, is that my notes?
There we go.
Those are my notes. Sorry, hold on.
No, man. it works. We're halfway there.
Right.
It's a huge accomplishment so far. We'll
Yeah, this is the first time I ever allowed anybody to share anything.
Yeah.
I feel honored. Okay. All right. So can you see this?
Yeah. I see those.
Okay. So this is a certification of analysis, the COA, and like I said, this is anything that you have to have this before you sell any. So I talked to our buddies over at Winewood, over in Ann Arbor. This is the COA for their new blueberry pancakes gummy that's coming out. You can see they're a 1-to-1. So I essentially show up with like a scale and a computer, and they essentially, when I'm like all set up, they show me to where their racks of gummies are. I take a certain amount of gummies, so it's a 0.5%, like per like the amount of like gummies you have in a batch. So like, 50,000, I take X amount of gummies. Then I like label the bag and everything, and then it goes into testing. And then these are the results that you get. So you can see that these gummies they were supposed to be a 1-to-1, 10 THC, 10 CBD, and you got pretty much on the dot. Kim does a great job over there. So you can see like the total THC here, total CBD, and then down here is actually the breakdown. So the milligram per unit per gummy. And you can see 10 Delta 9. 11 CBD there. You got some other like CBG and CBC down in here. So if you keep going on, there's certain tests that you have to pass. Water activity is pretty much being shelf stable. Solvents, Winewood uses like decarb concentrate, which is a solvent. So you have to have a solvent test. Micro to make sure that there's nothing in the gummy, like mold or anything in the gummy. Pesticides, obviously, heavy metal, and foreign matter. Foreign matter is essentially just making sure that there's nothing in the gummy that shouldn't be there. If you go down here, these are all of the pesticides that the state has us check for. You can see there's a lot of them. So you can see this LOQ is the the lowest amount that we can detect of that certain pesticide. And then you can see here that this is the upper limit. So you have like the lower limit and then the upper limit here. And then this is all non-detect. So obviously it's all non-detect throughout the whole test. They did a great job doing that. Down here, you have the micro. So you're allowed up to 100 CFUs and a 10,000 for the total microbe. You got some salmonella and aspergillus. They did a really good job. The heavy metal test, same thing. So yeah, so that's pretty much that's what you're going to get with any product that you have out there: flour, concentrate, and then they're all going to have certain tests that are run for each product.
Right. So I see like, in the final column, I guess it would say pass or fail. I mean, they just said pass.
Yep.
But what would it say if it didn't pass?
It would say fail. And it would be like, so say like you failed a pesticide, it would say right here, it would say fail. And then it would tell you specifically. Usually it would probably not be a pesticide. It would be like a solvent or something. Like if you had a concentrate and didn't get all the butane out, it would pop right here, and it would just say failed, and you would have a failed for the solvent.
Okay. Now, what about the test for medical products versus recreational products? Is there a different set, or is one more scrutinized than the other?
Yep. As you probably think that the med side is definitely more scrutinized. So like the total total yeast and mold is like a 10,000 right here. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 in med, which is fairly low, like especially when it's coming to like flour and stuff like that. Yeah, but yeah, it's all pretty much lower numbers across the board, just making sure it's extra safe for people that actually use it, you know, or need it for medicinal reasons or have reasons that they would be more, you know, prone to, you know, a pesticide being in there or something else.
Yeah. So with those lower limits and upper limits, you're never like actually quantifying the specific amount. It's just within that bracket.
Are you, yeah, you're talking about like here, like, yeah, we just don't see it at all. Like it's a non-detect, so it didn't even come up on the like the graph essentially. Sometimes though, it's like sometimes it would like hit, not, yeah, like I said, probably not for a pesticide, but for like a solvent or something like that. It could be like somewhere in the middle and still pass because it's not past the upper limit.
All right,
And these
but
are all
for
numbers.
something, go ahead.
I was going to say, these are all the numbers that like the state has put out, you know, as their numbers. These aren't like, you know, PSI's SOP or anything. These are statewide numbers.
Right. Like, okay, so these levels and detecting them, that's something that's implemented by the state. However, like you said, the PSI SOPs and whatever other labs, you know, across the country all have a different way of getting those those results though. Correct?
Yeah, they can have different ways. We try
Like
and
there's
stay
not
like, you know, to the IOC, which is like the I don't remember what the acronym is, but it's essentially the scientific body that just you know, kind of judges how your scientific process is, and they have like certain like milestones that you have to hit. So we just try and say IOC compliant. But yeah, there is some like variation in tests across like labs and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, respectively, I'm sure PSI is doing the best possible job with the technology, but there's not like a standard for testing statewide or nationwide, correct?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of interesting, but I don't. What would you say is like the thing that people should be looking for? You know, I mean, are you gonna see a bad test out on the shelf?
No. Everything that'll be on the shelves will pass. You know, we'll have like a passing COA like associated with it. There's not really like, so COAs are like public information. They're kind of tricky though to get. So the only way you're going to get them is through metric, and you have to have a metric number to access it. But I can't, like, just because I have a metric number through PSI, I can't see COAs from like across the market.
Right.
I'll give you power back here.
So it's like the responsibility of whoever's getting this product tested, whoever's got to put the information out and make it available.
Yeah, so it's public. It's like public information, but the only way that the consumer would be able to access it is through the dispensary, because the dispensary has it in their metric, and then they're able to go in and pull the COA for you from there. It's not the easiest process. It's definitely doable, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe your local bud tender didn't know how to pull a COA. It's not really something that especially when I was in the dispensary, that we ever did or had to really worry about. So, but that the information is out there and it is like accessible by the consumer, because that's who the test results are for. At the end of the day, is the consumer.
You got a question for him, Berg? Adam?
I mean, I was just wondering, like, well, I don't even know if you'd be able to talk about it, but I'm still gonna ask you. What have you ever had companies come to you, fail tests, remediate it, and bring it back for testing? The same fucking metric number and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, remediation is allowed by the CRA. And that is one. If you do fail a test, like let's say for like microbials and stuff, that is a way to kill the microbes that are on the flower. It's usually the flower, and then that's kind of what gets you a passing, is if like the mold doesn't like oh my god, proliferate. Oof. But yeah, it's I don't know necessarily like a dirty secret would be like a good way of putting it, but stuff is getting remediated out there.
And what are your feelings when it comes to remediation? And like, do you think the people should be let known that it was remediated? Like, what about like? I always thought that shit should be like on the package.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think like it doesn't have any negative effects to the flower as a health wise. Like it's getting hit with X-rays, but it's not like it's going to be turn you into the Hulk or anything. But again, that's where the COA would come in. I'm pretty sure it would say if it is remediated, because you do have to put that into metric that you are remediating it. Like say you got to fail, you would just go, okay, I'm remediating it, and then it retests. Yeah, it's I think another product of having more commercial industry than people are used to.
Definitely.
Well, it seems like everybody has an opinion about remediated weed. But like you are also a consumer. I don't know if it's medically or recreationally. We're not trying to violate your HIPAA, but what is your opinion on remediated weed? Do you like stay away from it yourself, or do you not have a problem? Like some of my favorite weed has been remediated. Like
I definitely wouldn't say that. I personally, I usually try and stay away from it, but that's because I have I go to Red Setter and I get some of the best flower that I see, just in general. So it's not as much of a necessity for me to because that's the thing too. It's the price, those are going to be the $100 ounces, and it's expensive out there. Everything is really expensive for people, and weed is definitely a place that you can save some dollars. But yeah, I personally try not to when I can.
Right.
But I will.
All right, but you will.
Do you but have you heard any stories about getting material from a grower or something and seeing visible mold on it and testing it and it still came back fucking.
I have not seen that as a tester. I've never
Because I
seen
mean they're
mold.
starting to remediate this shit before they even give it to you, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like They're
Yeah.
pre-mediating it. Like, come on.
Yeah, I've never seen like anything like truly scary like that where I'm like, oh, like, you know, or get taken aback. Nothing like that.
But can you tell if it's been remediated? You know, from the
Like,
testing?
yeah.
Is it detectable?
Like
during
color
testing?
change and everything, or what?
I probably just like anecdotally, I've kind of just noticed like maybe a lighter color, but that's not, you know, that could just be something I've just, you know, picked up the pattern for. But testing wise, not really. You're not gonna see like, you know, it's crashing THC or anything, or it's not yeah, nothing like that.
All right, well, okay. How about this one? So there's been, you know, rumors and speculation that, like, you know, the same people who are remediating and pre-mediating flour and products, that they might also do other things to the product to try to affect the outcome of the test. Like, have you ever come across something, or what is, you know, is there a protocol for when you see something that's seems to be doctored, or as long as it
Doctor,
passes the
like
test?
how?
I, I wouldn't know. I'm not in that business. I'm just
No, like
trying
I
to
guess
get to
like
the facts.
yeah, no, nothing like
I
that.
couldn't
Like
even imagine.
I guess my thought would be like someone just putting terpenes in concentrate, like that kind of stuff.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
I've never ever seen that. Like
Have
that
you
would,
seen?
yeah.
You've
I mean,
seen
that's a
Bud with
separate product, though, right? That's that infused cannabis.
right.
Yeah,
And
that shit's a
with
joke,
the
man.
distillate.
Yeah,
Well,
when they'll hit it with like
No, not
keef.
distillate.
no,
They'll grind up flour, then
right.
they'll fucking throw some THCA in it, and then
THCA
shake
on
it
it.
up.
Oh
Sprinkle
yeah,
Shake
it
it
like
up.
salt. Yeah.
Oh, it's infused flour.
yeah,
Fucking
Yeah,
Fuego was doing that bullshit.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. No, that's like
yeah.
a whole separate product. I'm sure there's a metric tag for
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that.
That's yeah. That's a whole separate thing. You see a lot of what I see right now is like infused with just like distillate, just like, you know, you can use the same machine that you use for carts to inject pre-rolls.
Right.
What?
So I'm
Yeah,
yeah,
the
so
little gun. You just
Yeah.
shoot it
or
in there.
well, now it's full on mechanical like platforms that you like put your carts on, and there's like a camera on a little needle that just goes zzz, next one fills it up, next one fills it up, and you just have
Oh
like a
wow.
reservoir on top with like distillate or like, you know, whatever you're, it's usually distillate, but and it's just like all automated. It does like 100 at a time.
That's dope.
Yeah, that's something that's been crazy, just being around
There's a
these new
camera, or
places.
is it like a
Oh
sensor?
yeah, it's like
Like
it
no, you
has
can
like
see
a
it up on a screen type shit.
yeah yeah, and it's
No
like right
way.
looking down into the cart. Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Like some of like the like I've seen, so for gummies now, they'll just have like this giant machine that separates gummies into like packs of whatever four, and then distributes them into like the packaging, and then seals them and like sends them out and puts them into boxes. It's
Yeah.
crazy,
So
like the
like the
amount
whole
of like
machine is automated.
the
Like
whole
no,
machine.
yeah, like no,
There's one guy at the end like checking
yeah.
and like making sure
He's
everything's right, but
he's taping up
it's
the boxes.
yeah. Yeah, the technology that's entering the market is cool to see on the backside. A lot of stuff like that. A lot of separators, like for flour. So you'll have like a place where you can like dish out flour, and then that drops it down into like little like areas that you can put a pouch in, you know? So instead of like having a tray with a scale, you're like weighing flour.
You're weighing it
it's
down
all just
bag of peanuts.
Automated.
Yeah.
It's
Just
Just
all
the weights are
automated.
falling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drops and then it heat seals the bag.
Yeah. And then it's like in a
After
box
it injects the nitrogen.
Yeah.
So it stays longer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Some of the like technology is
I remember
pretty
when
cool to see.
motherfuckers were trying to fuck with trying to put it weed in cans, like canned weed.
Oh
and
yeah,
shit.
that was
Remember
popular.
that shit?
Tuna can.
You remember that shit? I remember that shit.
Yeah, that guy out in Cali was big on that.
Right. But I only had 2 fucking canned weeds before, and both of them I personally thought were fucking trash. Well, no, dog catcher gave me some in a fucking can, but I knew what was going in it. You know what I mean? Like he did it for nostalgic purposes. He was like, here, Bert.
Yeah, the tuna can era was wild. I'm glad it's over.
Nah, but he gave it to me and like it was like a soup. It was like he gave me a whole ounce in a freaking soup can. It wasn't a tuna can. They have Red Setter Farms up here. So Red Setter, Zoo City Trees. What up, though? Oh, Amanda said most companies send copies of their COAs with their orders. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I wish those would hit the shelf more. That's what they would do it when I was at a dispensary too, is they would sometimes send the COA with the package. Yeah, really I just wish you could get the word out easier than you can with COAs, you know. I just wish it was a little bit more accessible. Just one place that you could go and find them all listed, you know, anything you wanted. Because again, it's like, who are we testing for? You know, it's not the companies, it's the consumer. So
right.
Okay, so I heard that, you know, this is a rumor, so I'm looking for you to clear it up here.
Mm-hmm.
That people can manipulate their THC percentage by manipulating the moisture of the cannabis.
Moisture. It's the moist.
Interesting. The only thing I don't know anything about that. The only thing that I could think of would be like if would be like less there'd be less like dilution of the THC, you know, there'd be less mass of water. So it would be more concentrated in the drier nug. I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard.
I don't know.
I like a nice cured nug. That's something that's not happening either. Curing.
Right.
That's a thing of the past.
Whole other monster.
Yep.
Yeah, no, a lot of weed is good weed, but it could be so much better.
Could be a lot better.
For sure.
Yeah. And again, it's just a
flying off the
product of
shelves.
yeah, it's just commercial, you know, like it's like the weed culture and weed industry are very separate, you know, like you would think that they would be doing some of the things like curing and stuff like that, the little bit more TLC aspects, but it's just not about that, you know, it's about selling flour and
right, getting
numbers.
Getting that out there now tomorrow.
Yeah. Which, you know, I can't hate on, you know, that's what The market's going to
It's
do what the market's
it's
going to do.
capitalism.
Yeah, you know, like at the end of the day.
I mean, I remember one of the places I worked at in the past, they would put QR codes on their products, so you could just scan that shit. And it'll take you to PSI Labs and show the fucking.
Well, it was part of the labeling.
Yeah. Is that still going on? Like, do they have to put the QR codes on there?
They don't have to put the QR, but they do have to have, like, you look on the back and you see like the batch size and this like, or like the batch metric number and like when it was harvested, and like that information has to be on there, but not the COA.
Oh. Dun dun dun. So, but on the label, on the fucking test results, on the product, there would be some kind of number you would be able to search and like find the results, or no?
No,
It's not. They don't have to fucking post that shit.
Well, what you would do is you would like
request
go to your bud tender and be
That's
like, hey, can you look
crazy,
up these results
man.
for me?
Wait, hey,
And then he would go
watch.
in and do it. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I know this is all like after anything leaves the lab, but I've heard that people do a lot of funny shit with the results and applying results to other products and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that has nothing to do with, you know, PSI or any other lab for that matter.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it would even get back to you guys that people are, or maybe the state would make requests to find out about, you know, the results pertaining to a product. I like, you know, it's just so convoluted at a certain point.
Yeah. The state usually doesn't like pull requests, only like usually pesticide fails. That's an area that they're very interested in always. And that's, you know, probably one of the more harmful ones. You know, if you have flour and you just sprayed a bunch of pesticides on it, you know, like that's really bad, you know. So that's the one that they're
remediation get rid of that shit.
Remediation, it won't get rid of pesticides.
All right,
no.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But do you get, okay, let me get my teeth out of the way. When you first started testing, did you get a lot of pesticide tested weed? Is
that failed?
Yeah, do you ever see that in the?
It's pretty rare. Companies know not to even go near that stuff because it comes up, you know, on the test, you know. So yeah, we don't see any, like I haven't seen any in a minute. Yeah, pesticide fails honestly aren't that prevalent in the industry, at least for PSI. We don't see a lot of them.
Not since the government sprayed paraquat all over Mexico. But that's another subject.
I think he knows about that, Adam.
He knows all about it.
Oh, and I mean, like, so if anyone else wants to, you know, since you know it's legal, you guys can come to PSI. I know Adam, he's talked about how he comes in, but anyone can just come into PSI with product, you know, and have it tested for whatever you want. You know, you can do like a full panel, but like just like a potency and a terpene is $40 a piece, $80 to kind of know where you're at. You know, if you're a grower, you can bring in, like, if you get a cart and you're like, wow, this doesn't, you know, taste the best, you know, you can always just bring that in too. You know, it doesn't have to be like anything that you like grew yourself or produced yourself, you know. We'll test anything you got.
If it's in your possession, it's yours and you can test
Yep.
it.
Yep. And then you'll just like go set up like an account through like this reporting system that we use, and you just get sent the results.
And you can give people access to those results. You can send those results.
Yep. It'll give you a full COA.
So you said that
too,
that's
so you can
just
be
for
official.
potency and terpene and all that. But how about how much is the like full all fucking like test?
A full compliance for over the counter. I don't remember how much that would be off the top of my head. It would be probably like a couple $100 or something like that. And then we would need like if we were doing flour, we would need like 6 to 7 grams of like flour to do all the tests. Yeah, and I mean it depends what you want tested. Like the potency terpene, we need like 2 grams, a gram and a half. Something like that. The microbial test is really the one that's product heavy. We need like 4 grams for that at least. And a lot of people, we don't see too many people coming in and doing like a full panel, but like over the counter. Usually it's like if it's like a concentrate, they're gonna do solvents to see if they pulled all like their concentrate or their solvents out and stuff like that.
So if I had like a product that, had been tested and passed, now that it's in my possession, I feel like there's, something not quite right about it. I bring it to PSI and it fails for a bunch for all the bad stuff. What happens after that?
We wouldn't, that would be up to you and what you want to do with that information. We wouldn't take it on ourselves to go to the CRA, but we would, suggest that
I
you
didn't know
do.
if you guys
You
were
don't
like
have to.
required to report or something like that.
No, not us. We don't honestly, like the labs don't really have that much connection to the CRA. I feel like that's kind of like some, like people think that we're really like connected and they're like really monitoring us. So that's not really the case, like we're a separate entity outside the CRA. But that would be up to you if you wanted to then reach out to the CRA, with that information.
Right. All right. So I remember a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to name any names, but just speculatively speaking, how does something like this happen? Where people were, and this is in the medical when it was caregivers, when it was like not multi-million-dollar companies, and products were being tested at different labs and getting different results. And I felt like that really kind of shook everybody's kind of confidence in the whole process.
Yeah, so I mean, one way that it would happen, like just on my level as a sampler. So like when we're just going to keep using flour as the example. So when I go to a place, they say, here you go, you can have 50 pounds per batch. So, they're like, here's 50 pounds, and say it's 5 totes of 10 pounds, I'm going to take, I think it's for max weight. I think I take 114 grams for testing because that's a 0.5%. And that's what the state requires us to do. And then I'm going to go through and take 10 handfuls equaling 114 grams. So I'm just going to go through, like if it's 5, it's easy, but say there's like 10 totes, I'm going to pick 5, or, some sort of subsection of that. So I don't have to go through like 10 totes. That would take me forever. But, and I would just pick at random. But say another lab came in and they also picked at random, there's a possibility that they would have picked, let's just say, more of the the top nugs or something, something like that's a little bit more frosted, so there would be some sort of variance, in the THC. But that's kind of like that's like kind of how it works, it's what the THC number is, it's an average of the 10 pulls, or it's the average of the of the 10 pulls that I do, so sometimes it could be, like I said, like super sugary nugs, and that's why I take like random and I try and get like a homogeneous, accurate representation of like the entire batch.
So is that job like a service or a requirement? Like, could the company just turn over to you a set amount of cannabis and be like, here's your samples?
No, I have to physically do it. Yeah. And they have to allow me access to the entire batch. So it can't be like, oh, here's these 2 totes and the other 5 totes are like in the other room. I have to be able to be like, no, I want that tote specifically,
Right.
And again, that's just to kind of give me like a randomized, and that's kind of like that could happen with THC. That's I would say, I don't think that would cause that much of a change though. Like, it's not going to change like a 15 to a 25% flower, that's
Yeah, and like the incident that I'm thinking about, it was edibles actually. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it was like a few different products from a few different people, but it was like a great deal of variance in the potency. It was like from in the teens to into like the 120s,
Yeah.
and like there was no mid ground. It was just extremes. It either was
Yeah.
extremely or it was barely medicated.
Yeah, so that sounds like there was a problem of mixing. So like if it was, if they were chocolates, or the chocolate, or like gummies or chocolates or anything that you have to like mix
Yeah.
to get the distillate and everything homogeneous, and
Uh,
that's what that sounds like, is they had like a patch that had like all of the THC in it.
that's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's something that we see that we would catch in testing though too,
So
is
that
we do
would
a
fail, right?
that
Anything above
okay.
what it's posted, it's supposed to be failed, right?
Yeah. The funny thing is though, you can't technically like fail for potency. You're just off potency, but you still have to do something to fix that. Or, companies will do like, say you were selling 5 20-milligram gummies, so it would be 100 milligrams, but say they came out a little heavy, so you could do 4 25-milligram gummies. And as long as it's not really like above, it really is, as long as it's not above 200 milligrams, it's like okay to sell. But you would need to then like put a sticker on the
Relabel and
bag or
all that
something, like,
shit.
you have to tell people that
Yeah.
that they're off potency.
That's a whole like custom product line.
Exactly. Yeah. Way easier, bro. Just melt them down, especially
Yeah.
gummies. You
So
can
as
just melt.
far as it goes above and they change it and everything, but what about the shit that's like super low? Does that fail or they can still sell it?
Yeah. It doesn't. Again, like, it doesn't like fail, and they could do that, but they probably wouldn't. Because it's pretty easy. I mean, they would need to then repass. They would need to retest and get like an accurate dosage. Like, it does need to pass at some point. It's not like they can get it tested, fail, and then just put out like 5-milligram gummies when they were saying 25. They would have to then get it retested and have in metric on the COA that it's on potency.
Mm. So, do you think that the industry has just gotten to a point where it's not failing tests anymore?
I don't know. Honestly, like I only see really what PSI is doing. And we pride ourselves on having accurate data, and part of that is sometimes you fail, and that's
Okay.
that should be that should be more common than it is, and it's not a bash on um you know the grower himself. Like, say you fail a batch because it has mold on it, you should take that opportunity to then look, be like, what contamination happened, because I was doing good so far, and then this happened. What happened, to give me that contamination?
Yeah, for sure.
And that happens, sometimes with like the people we help, and we always offer, just give us a call. We'd love to help you guys, figure out what's going on, where the contamination might be, whether it's like, oh, it's like a leaky part of this roof is getting moisture in here or something like that, like, yeah, we do like environmental swabs for people, and we're actually going to be releasing this kit that we can just send out, and you can test your facility or your house and send it back and give you like environmental results on if there's like mold or coliforms,
Well, that's dope.
at just anywhere, usually in your facility. But yeah, we'll go out and like swab people's like drains and stuff like that, at facilities,
Find
and
out.
yeah. Oh, maybe this is the site
Find out where the
information.
problem is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you go out and get samples, but you're not an actual like lab tech. You don't actually do the testing.
Correct.
But do you see the results of the stuff you've collected, or
Yeah, generally, I keep like abreast with like everything.
so I guess my question to you is like what's something that shows up in all the weed?
What do you mean?
I mean, is there anything that you test for that always shows up? Like it's a constant, um, regardless, probably, very low. I'm not saying like stuff is, at danger levels, but what is like something that shows up in cannabis that, you wouldn't think did, but it kind of does. Is there such a
Mm,
thing?
not really. I mean, like,
Like when it
not
does
really.
fail, what's the majority? What's the like, that one thing that,
If
it's
it's gonna
more
fail,
than likely if it's gonna fail, what would that be?
Flour is total yeast and mold. That's definitely the most prevalent one. I mean, it the weed plant is just like moist and like
Yeah.
hot. It's just like a breeding ground, so it's, you have to really keep your practices in place and SOPs in place to really get that, but obviously there's definitely more passing than failing out there in that regard. Solvent, or concentrates, solvents, that's going to be the most common one. um, Edibles usually aren't failing. They're sometimes off potency, but never really like failing for anything.
Uh,
And then potency, is a pretty tight window. It's 10% of um, the whatever your projected is. So if they're 20 milligrams, you can be 22 or 18.
Mm.
So that's the most common one for edibles. But yeah, flour is obviously totally usable.
Yeah. Well, damn, man, you make it seem like everything's all well in the world of cannabis, man. I hope that's true.
Yeah, I think everyone can want better from the industry. I think any institution you should want better. It's definitely not all rose-colored glasses and whatnot.
So have you ever went into a fucking like facility to like test some shit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well you should test this batch right here, just this section right here," and then try to
No.
like slip you something in your back pocket? No. Oh
No.
yeah, man.
Dude, I mean, like, I was actually talking to a metric guy today, and we were saying like it's almost like working at like when like the inspector goes into slaughterhouses and then he turns into a vegetarian because he knows how the meat's handled. It's not as extreme, but it's definitely like that. I've seen some horrors. There was this one that he had, bless his soul, he had like a bunch of like old wheat, like fresh frozen, that he had like thawed, that he didn't do it. It thawed, then he like refroze it, and then he like blasted that, and it it was quite possibly the grossest thing I've ever seen. So it was a concentrate. So concentrates are like ubiquitously in a glass Pyrex dish, like pretty much across the board, glass Pyrex. And it was just this glass Pyrex, and there was like a whole top layer that was like gelatinous, like it never like set all the way, and it smelled so bad. And I was like, why on earth did you ever blast it? He was like, I just wanted to see what it would do. I was like, all right. That was
Did he
that was
pass?
really nasty. These flying colors. Pass.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
No, he didn't get that pass. That was, I asked him, I was like, you're not, and he was like, God, no.
Jeez, man.
Yeah, it's cool. I really like working at a lab. It's a really cool place to be in the market. It's kind of a cool side of the industry a lot of people don't get to see.
Well, yeah, I mean, are you guys hiring? Are you trying to get applicants? I mean, I'm sure somebody in the audience would love to join.
I mean, if we are. I don't think we are right now, but we always post our job inquiries on like Indeed and stuff. So.
There you go, y'all. Well, man, I was hoping that there was something that we needed to look out for or watch out for or be informed about, but it seems like this ignorance that prevails amongst the consumers seems to be good.
I mean, that's definitely not the case. Like I have noticed that more than anything is that it's, again, like I said, it's a really new industry, and there's a lot of more scientific things that are coming out about cannabis that have never really been known before. And that's why it's important to have like accurate data being released, and that's why it's cool working at PSI, is because that's what we really pride ourselves on. And that's definitely something that I see in the future becoming more like the norm, like just straight accurate data.
Oh, KK's asking, have you ever ran into a batch with laced with fentanyl?
No.
A batch of gummies. No.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
sure that lab guys and you guys got to talk to each other, somewhere. There's like a Facebook group or something. Have you heard anything about fentanyl in cannabis?
About
in
what?
real life? Fentanyl mixed with cannabis in real life?
Never.
Right.
Ever. Especially in the market, because again, like
especially in the market.
Yeah.
Fentanyl's not a smokable drug either. So It wouldn't make any sense to do that.
Well, he was talking about
In the
gummies.
edibles.
Oh, edibles.
No.
Yeah, that would be.
I mean, like, you better believe that if that ever happened, there would be way more than the CRA coming down. You know, like that would definitely be a DEA level problem.
Okay, but would your test catch it?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if we would necessarily test for it, but
Right.
Yeah.
like
So
I don't know if it would
hypothetically.
be picked up on some other like test, but again, like that's definitely not it's definitely not a thing.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like cannabis gets demonized. I've heard cannabis mixed with heroin, cannabis mixed with different types of cocaine, fentanyl, people spraying weed down in the black market with stuff. But like, you've never seen this. This is
No.
not like, it's
No.
just like, people talking about people messing with kids' candy at Halloween. It's like something that's, on high alert, but in reality, none of this stuff is actually happening.
That's a really good way of putting it. That is
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better.
Excellent.
Yeah, because again, like I think that like people generally think that it's like for edibles, it's like 10 people in a kitchen, laughing and like in their like normal clothes and stuff like that, and like smoking weed, but it's not. It's like full manufacturing level, all white walls. Everyone wears PPE, hair nets, beard nets. Like they're very highly like specialized now, and like really have SOPs down that minimize health, like food risk and stuff like that. Yeah, and there's definitely some there. There is like the testing side, but we talked on the phone earlier. Like the nose knows. If you're really looking for the best flower out there, you're gonna have to like look at it. You're gonna have to smell it. You're gonna have to get your eyes and ears on it.
Deli style.
Exactly. Old school style. And that's something that I feel is kind of like getting lost nowadays. It's not just like accessible to do that as much.
Yeah,
Costs
people are
more than a
buying weed off the computer.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Which is convenient, man. I've definitely.
But it's still weird because a large part of it is sticking, your nose in it and touching it and feeling it. The whole experience.
Yep.
No, I remember I was in Vegas. It was still when it was medical, but I'm sure it's even more, restricted when it comes to actually like handling the weed. Like they gave me an open jar to actually like smell it. And
that's nice.
I just grabbed a nug just because it was like natural for me. They were like, like, oh fuck, my bad. I bet. Thought alarm was gonna go off or some shit, bro.
Yeah, they like swarm you.
I mean, the bud tenders were about to jump over the fucking glass counter and shit. I was like, chill out, bro. Not stealing it.
Yeah.
I was feeling it. But yeah, they definitely don't let you do that nowadays.
No.
But in lieu of that, if you were given like a full panel test result, could you look at it and tell if it was something that you liked?
I mean, probably not. to be honest with you, like I mean, like it would have like a terpene profile, and like I could get like I could get a sense of what like it might taste like or smell like, but there's so much more that's going on in like cannabis other than just like what the straight terpene profile is. There's other, chemicals and resins in there, and also, like how you're not going to be able to tell like how dry it is, and is there, we do take like a little picture on there. So you could see like if it's, super tricky or not. But no, again, like the nose knows. You like if you're really going to try and like pick out something you like, I always like asking people, do you guys like tangy? The smell.
Right.
I love it. I could rub my face in it.
It depends on what I like. I like more of an orange than tangy, and there is a difference.
There's a difference.
So I lean more towards the orange, and I like the lemon without the haze. So,
right.
You know what I mean? Like a candy, almost a
Yes.
candy lemon.
Yeah.
And I also like lime terps too, though.
Yeah. Yeah. The lime is good.
I'm not all against, citrus terps, but I'm specific when it comes to them.
Yeah. I love that. It's the most polarizing strain, I think, ever.
Yeah. Somebody I know was talking about they're growing some super cherry supermove. I'm wondering how that's going to be. Sounds almost like a trap cherry, but
yeah.
It's like trap cherry back cross.
Something,
Yeah.
But yeah, he said it's the most purplest weed he's ever grown.
Nice.
I don't think he's ever seen the midnight though. Shout out Michigan Turf Farms. That midnight was fire. Do you remember that, Adam?
The midnight?
Yeah. You remember how dark that? It was like a dark, deep purple.
Yeah, purple, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire. So what are your favorite terps? You're talking about tangy?
Yep, I'm a big citrus guy. Anything citrus, I love. I like the sweet too, like you were saying, like that sweet citrus. I really like. I like the gas too, but I don't know. Like, can't remember who I was talking to, but your body craves terps. Sometimes you like smell it and you're like, whoa, I really like that. I always smell that like citrus.
That's how I am with grape and strawberry, man. Like those are one of my all-time sought after. But it has to be a combo. It has to be gas along with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really a tangy guy. But that doesn't mean I don't like citrus. I just like more of like the grapefruits and the limes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where I fall into the citrus category.
Yeah, I always think like tangy has like a dry smell to it. Like it's like it almost like dries my nose out with like the citrus. I was actually talking to Red Setter about this, but it's like a nose feel sometimes with flour. I felt like the old cheeses were like that. Like you would smell it and it wouldn't necessarily smell like dairy or like cream, but it would feel that way kind of. Gelato sometimes does that to me. It's like a creamy smell.
Yeah, that cream for sure.
Like, what's one of your favorite like all-time strains yourself? Are you more of a flower guy, or do you do concentrates, or what?
Yeah, everything. One of my favorite was green crack. I'm like a sativa guy, if you couldn't tell, but old green crack was sweet.
Crack. There's Nothing better than green crack.
Yeah.
I remember that somebody that she said she can never smoke green crack because she would get all whacked out, like and paranoid and shit. Every time she fucking smoked.
Yeah, that was a strong sativa, that's for sure. Yeah, like Tropicana cookies, Tangy. I like GMO, you know, like that's just like such a classic. Blow your face off indica.
Yeah.
The gases, Rainbow Driver, really good one.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. We probably said it many times on the show. Was that sour grape.
Mm.
Roach knows about it. He knows about the lung candy. What lung candy was strawberry diesel times strawberry cough. Oh, bro, it was so fire. It was like so strawberry and so much gas, bro. It was fire.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I miss some of those old strains. It'd be nice if they were available.
Everybody in the chat's talking about how Adam's falling asleep and now he's up taking a dab, about to fall asleep again. Now you're muted.
I was doing a dab. I didn't fall asleep. I fell asleep last week. I'll admit to that. And I got 3 phone calls.
Did you watch the show back? Man?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Man, you were snoring like a motherfucker, bro. I had to mute you.
People called me on my phone. I didn't. Because, yeah, I did fall asleep. It was like 10:23, and everyone blew up my phone. So this week I will not fall asleep, just to prove a point. I like to rest my eyes though. If the guy's talking and I can close my eyes for a little bit, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
But I guess I was snoring, huh?
Yeah, watch it, man. Did you
I will watch
it? Adam's on the show all the time, man. He probably hits the dislike button. Fucking asshole.
Who hits a dislike button? Me?
Probably you, man.
No.
Oh, you're about to tell me. You know somebody hits.
He knows what it is.
Yeah, he was like, it wasn't me. I know who it was. Motherfucker.
I think I know who it is too.
Really?
Shout out to everybody in here with that like button. Appreciate you.
I gotta get some.
Hell yeah.
If you haven't hit that shit right now, please, thank you.
Makes a difference in our world, doesn't it?
It does, man. It does.
Yeah, did we talk about those dispensaries getting shut down, or was that before the show?
That was before the show.
Before the show. What's that about? Locals going in, shutting down dispensaries?
Yeah, the local municipality violated them. Like they're good with the state,
violation.
but with the state, you got to be good with your local, and they got some kind of dispute. They're not really saying.
Right, that's the problem. It's like
they paid off the wrong person, or
they just shut them down and didn't tell them why, or.
Oh, I'm sure they told them why.
Yeah, but they don't. like nothing's in public record where.
No, not in the paper yet.
Unless Elliot might have an inside scoop.
Well, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
3 shops in Mommy. Is that what we call it?
Mommy.
Oh, in Ohio?
Yeah. They all got shut down. 3 of them.
Yeah.
By the city.
It's
by the city, not the state.
Did they just like not let them open, or?
No, sounds like they went in and shut everybody down.
Whoa, that's crazy.
That is.
Yeah, I know in Michigan it's like a state thing, but obviously there was that like opt-in, opt-out.
Yeah,
like
but
some.
If you opt in, or you're Hazel Park or some crazy off the wall weed place, there's not gonna nobody cares about weed in those places.
No. No one cares about weed any place.
Well,
Yeah, so it
That's
says
crazy though.
Higher Love, Loom, and Nirvana were shut down due to a court order from the 41st Circuit Court.
right. Won't tell you what it is.
Nope. So yeah, it's in the city. It's Menominee.
Menominee, right? My bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little high. But
That's
I'm
crazy.
awake.
Welcome
How you
back.
say it?
Menominee. Yeah.
Like it's almost like a Muppet word.
Probably not.
But aren't they right at the border, and don't they service a lot of people? Or no?
I don't know. Mommy is pretty close to the border. Isn't that right by Toledo?
Yeah.
Does Ohio still, are they rec now? Or are they still mad?
I think that's what they're about to vote on.
Oh, okay.
Germany's supposed to be wrecked by the end of the year. They're talking
saw
about
that.
people being able to grow their own shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They don't talk about how, like, quantity or how many plants or anything, though.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if they're gonna do like a open market or if they're just gonna do like a home grower thing.
They're talking about, doing like social clubs and all that shit.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Farmers market type places.
You gotta get PSI to move to Germany.
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. No. Welcome back, fellas. Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Germany?
No.
But I know a lot of the weed in Amsterdam is grown in Belgium and Germany and smuggled in.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, Germany is one of those countries that.
Yeah, the only people I know that been to Germany were in the military. They're stationed there. I'm sure they weren't fucking around with weed.
Probably not. Well, who knows,
It's not like when they send them to Vietnam and it's just growing in the jungles everywhere. the only other thing I would ask is, does anybody know anybody that got a license awarded to them during the last round in Detroit? Because they got a bunch of licenses a week ago.
Is there a list of them?
And there's a list somewhere. I haven't found it yet. But there's going to be one more round of 25, I think. And yeah, it's wild how where and who and how they're picking these people. Is it lottery? Is it,
I don't know. Didn't they do you had to be like a resident to get a med license or something like that?
I think they changed the law that says you have to be a resident to have a license.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit's crazy with that. Who knows what they're gonna do?
Yeah.
I think that they're gonna choke it out before it even gets started.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Because I mean, like, Hazel Park is pretty close. That's like, and they're right there. They have some of those close suburbs.
Yeah, but they got a lot of dispensaries, and they're right next to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's
been a crazy thing to see. Is just like the dispensaries are just everywhere now. Like way more than I thought. Like when legalization was happening and all that, I didn't expect it to be like this.
Man, Detroit was booming.
235 medical dispensaries in the city of Detroit. It was like the greatest anti-plague program the city ever had. All these new storefronts, putting all kinds of money into selling weed. And then they shut that down. 75, I think. That's what they're going to allow to stay open.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Do you guys have any other questions about like testing or anything? Is there anything in the chat?
One comment I saw that was talking about concerns about heavy metals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how often does that turn on?
It depends what the medium. Sometimes you see it from flour. Not usually. Like we rarely see it pop for heavy metals, but cannabis does pull metals really well, just as the natural ability of the plant. So that you do see it in there. Sometimes like we'll see them in carts. The metal interior sometimes leaches with the solvents that you put in, like for the concentrate and stuff like that. So that's usually the two places that you'll see metal fails: carts and like flour. But I would say carts more than flour, but again, carts it's not like super prevalent. Like I said, the thing that you're going to find with concentrates is butane, like whatever solvent they use to blast with. That's what you'll see the most for the fail.
So I guess, I mean, you guys are pretty much on the job. Like, what's the worst violation that you've seen?
There usually there's not one that's like worse than the other ones, I guess, if that makes sense. Like we've seen like pretty heavy micro fails though, like where it's like so what happens is you extract the flour to like a solution and then you put it on like this little like agar plate, and then you put it in the oven, and then the mold grows, and that's how we test to see if there's mold on the thing. So it has to be alive, and sometimes those plates are just like packed. Like there was one that we had that was actually like off gassing a little bit. Like there was so much activity. Like the mold was like growing and then eating itself and like off gassing, that it was like making like these little like bubbles in the like underneath the film of the agar.
So it was like
That was
cooking. It was
like
baking.
cooking. Yeah, it was like it was fully grown. Yeah, but that's a bad one, and that was one of the last like three years I've worked there. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
I bet you
nobody's gonna
everybody
waste their money.
looked at that shit too, huh? Everybody was like,
oh yeah. That's
you were calling people in that don't even deal with that shit. You're like, look at that shit.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody's gonna waste their money sending something that they know is gonna fail to a testing lab in the commercial sense. Like that, they would just
So what like you guys said, the pre-mediating, I like that term, by the way. The pre-mediation, definitely, that happens sometimes where you'll remediate before the testing to just ensure, because like at the scale of commercial business, you need to save money.
What's one of the biggest batches of flour like testing is like, because you said you got to do it in like 50-pound batches.
50-pound batches. So we are in the heat of Croptober right now. We're just now seeing it.
What's the max you have ever seen?
I mean, I was in a room. I was in a warehouse, like a 20-foot ceiling warehouse that was all drying trellises. That was literally from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, just like hallways of just like hanging flour. It was like around 1,000 plants. That was crazy. It's just like you don't understand how much plant that is until you're like standing in a hallway in like a full warehouse. It's wild. Yeah, the outdoors, like of all like the grows and stuff we go to, those ones are the ones that are like really like awe-inspiring almost, to go there, and you're just looking at acres of just huge bushes, man. Like I'm talking like full on fully growing plants out there, just, and like the stalks are all thick because like the wind is actually like making them strong, and it's seriously like awe-inspiring to be out there. It's crazy.
Sweet.
Yeah, I would hope that people get more educated on flour and like what they're smoking, and being a little bit more discerning with what they want, and yeah, I think the market can get definitely better. It's all uphill from here.
Man, do you have a med card? I mean, if you don't
Me?
mind me asking. Yeah.
Actually, I don't.
Oh man.
With the Flyerberg.
You know where you can go, right?
Where?
Detroit Certification Center. DetroitSearchCenter.com. Detroit Search Center on social media. And I mean, you don't look like you like to wait, Elliot. You want to get it over with, man. 10 minutes or less. 248-265-6707. Call, text, holler at Wheezy, tell her Medical Monday sent you. She'll show you some love. I'm sure anybody you call, show you some love, man, because we need these numbers up. So get that shit together, Elliot.
Yeah, man.
That's right, we'll do.
You know, if you're in the Detroit area this weekend, Sunday, you know, bro, you need to come out. You know, I think Detroit Search Center will look out again for this give back, and we'll at least be able to give away
At least
at least one. We're promising you one. So, hey, it might be you, Elliot, man, if you're in the Detroit area. But yeah,
I might be.
hit him with the flyer, Berg. He doesn't know.
There we go.
He doesn't know what's
Where?
going on, man. He doesn't know how significant being in attendance is.
I'm also really curious, who are the bread boys?
yeah.
Oh, so are we.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, man. This Sunday. Shout out JSH Enterprises. The Bread Boys, those guys, and it's gonna benefit the Capuchin Soup Kitchen and First Step Women's Shelter. $20 at the door or a comparable donation of a non-perishable food item or a winter jacket. Yeah, you guessed it. It's the food and coat give back. So it's real easy. There's these people, they need some shit. We like to smoke weed and we care. So we're going to make it happen.
Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Come on, man. Everybody bring a coat and $20. It's, you know, look out. And we look out for y'all. Who's going to be there cooking, bro?
Man, Chi-Town on the hibachi grill. You like hibachi, Elliot?
I love hibachi. Who don't love hibachi?
Man, Chi-Town killer. And then you got the Fun Food Express Carnival food truck out front, man. So they got like all that carny stuff, but like you don't have to go to Carnival, man. You can just go out. A bunch of great vendors, man. I'm sure you might even know some of these people.
There's a raffle too, man.
Oh, the raffle! I almost forgot.
Everybody in attendance gets a raffle ticket, and
a chance
you
to
can
win.
purchase more too. So,
but yeah, you get a chance to win fucking these awesome giveaways from the give back, and it's fucking vendors. So I don't know, Elliot, man. You might want to spread this around the office. Come through with the crew, represent.
Definitely let them know. Bring them jackets.
Man, and not perishable food items.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, man. Thanks to Elliot, man. Really appreciate you coming through and clarifying, those test results make you think there's something wrong in the first place to need them to begin with. But hopefully you put everybody at ease, man. I don't know. I feel a little bit better. You feel better, Berg? You feel safer?
Feel a little safer?
I mean, not really, because I wasn't smoking that.
We don't bullshit here on Medical Mondays. We appreciate you coming on, for real.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, guys.
I'm sure all the socials are PSI Labs.
PSI Labs, go, psilabs.org. If you wanted to bring in samples, we're open from noon to 5. You can always email me if you want me on your podcast or just want to ask me questions. Elliot at psilabs.org. I'm definitely you can reach out with pretty much anything you want to ask. Have me on a different podcast. Have me back. I'd love to come back.
Do you want to plug your SoundCloud, man? Go ahead.
No, it's long deactivated.
Ah. But yeah, big shout out to everybody still in here. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate everybody who fell through tonight. And huge shout out to everybody who makes this happen.
Yeah. You know who it is, man. Big shout out to Native Made 313, Michigan Turf Farms, Nug Abduction Extracts, Tiki Madman, SOB, and Tree Street Packaging. Boom.
Oh,
Gotta love those brands.
sure. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And thanks for joining us for this Medical Monday.
Sweet.